to another Alexandra Mayers live webcast. Today is my tribute to Bob Ross. This webcast is starting a couple hours later than I normally do my webcasts because I had a few things to do tonight, and I actually have been meaning for quite some time to work on this particular painting, which I might have tweeted it a while back. I'm not sure if I did or not, but I thought to myself tonight, especially being that I finally got my lyrics video posted for my single Lately from my upcoming album, which will be released later this year. But anyway, yeah, if you want to know the lyrics, sing along, do a little karaoke to my music, now you can. So I feel great about that. But because I feel so good about that, I felt kind of like celebrating tonight, and I wasn't quite sure how. Because nowadays, I'm a bit of a homebody. I don't really go out that much or anything. And I was thinking, what can I do that's productive and creative, but that I can share with all of you? And then it occurred to me, I'll paint with y'all. And at the same time, because I am a woman of many talents, I'm going to enjoy a glass of wine. And I'm going to talk about beautiful men. Because even though I feel that there is quite a war on women nowadays, unfortunately, I think it's led really by men who don't really know how to handle women who are their equivalent. So instead they either try to infantize women via psychological tactics, or they just date girls half their age, which is honestly really gross when you really think about it. At that point, you're kind of encroaching upon ephebophilic themes there. But even though, there's so many men out there that just honestly straight up make me sick, there's a lot of men out there who don't. Quite a few. And tonight I want to talk about just some men that I find quite beautiful, both inside and out. And, as we're going through these tough times politically and socially, I do want to reach out to my female viewers out there. And I just want to say, don't let evil make you jaded, because it's so easy for it to happen. I mean, really, it's very few bad apples that ultimately spoil the bunch. And just when I think about, what really prompts sexism and racism and all that kind of, just all those social themes that are essentially created to divide us, it's occurred to me, I'm like, it's just a few people who are making us feel this way, who are invoking all of this hate. I think about just some of the sexist, man-hating things I've said, and a lot of it, I think, has been prompted by just a few assholes. Nice to think about, but it's actually kind of sad. And, that's just something that we all, I think, need to keep in mind when we start, you know what? I'm going to start this way. But, just when you start to really think about things that make us angry, things that cause us to hate, things that cause us to not really be the best versions of ourselves, we need to start thinking about, okay, where is this hate really coming from? And who the hell is prompting it? I think it's very important to really look at who's prompting certain feelings, who's invoking certain feelings within us. Because when you really look at the people who are doing it, and you really look at their lives are miserable. And you know what they say, misery loves company. So, when I look at that fraud, who for whatever reason someone decided to allow him to play president temporarily, but when you really look at his life, for example, he has a miserable life. And I think when you think about the magnitude of how miserable it actually might be, considering how much he's projecting his misery upon us, it goes to show money definitely cannot buy happiness. But let's not talk about the fraud tonight. Tonight, we're just going to talk about beautiful men. I guess we'll start with Bob Ross, since really it's what he's best known for that kind of inspired this webcast tonight. I remember as a little girl watching Bob Ross, and he is someone I would say is both beautiful on the outside and the inside. He had a very non-threatening look, which is ironic considering that I think he was in the military at some point in time. I think he was actually a bit of a badass. And the painting, I would assume, maybe was something to help him with his PTSD. Just as painting helps me with what I feel are PTSD symptoms that I've had from the years of working in adult entertainment, specifically the Los Angeles pornographic industry that I experienced. But I always liked Bob Ross's hair. I always found him interesting. White guy with the afro. I think I read on his Wikipedia that that was actually a perm. And he got perms, supposedly, at least from what I recall reading, to save money on haircuts. I guess he got sick of getting haircuts and he felt like, all right, I'm just going to get a perm. That way I can just kind of poof it out. And I don't know if that's true, but I do recall reading that. And I thought that was very interesting. So, yeah, along with this being a tribute to Bob Ross, this is also kind of a, yeah, Bob Ross, you're dead, but you know what? You were kind of hot. Oh, gosh. So who do I want to talk about next? I actually made a list of beautiful men that I felt like discussing tonight. Ooh, well, he's not the next person on the list, but I'm going to talk about him anyway. Wesley Snipes, because he's awesome, and I'm really loving all the things that he's saying on Twitter. It's like you wake up in the morning and there's a tweet from Wesley Snipes. Because he's a bit of like a fantasy for me. Probably not nowadays because, well, maybe, but probably not. I tend not to like men who are too much older than I am. Most I'll go is about 12 years, really. And I probably, I'll probably regret thinking this way later in my life, but, you just kind of got to go with your natural progression. But when I was in my 20s, I dated quite a few men who were substantially older than me. And when I look back, I think to myself, for one thing, what were those old dudes doing with me? Sickos. And, like, what was I doing? I don't know. But, yeah, I try not to go any more than 12 years. But yeah, Wesley Snipes, he's quite the beautiful man. Quite the beautiful man. He's just great to look at. You know, he's basically like a work of art living. He's my favorite action hero. He's got that new show too. You know, if I can get through this 90 days of fitness challenge that I'm doing, I will probably be in pretty good shape. And if I am going to go out for Wesley Snipes action hero reality show. Just because I want to try to meet Wesley Snipes. Not to hit on him or anything. Just, you know. Got to try to meet your idols in your lifetime. I think that's important to do. I guess he's more of an idol to me, like a demigod in a way. Like, I don't worship him. Well, maybe sometimes, but he's just, to me, Wesley Snipes is larger than life. And I can't really say that about many people on this planet, but he's one of them.